All right, so we are here. Hi, welcome. And if you're joining me on Facebook, I'm thrilled that you're here. If you're joining me on YouTube, welcome as well. And now let's say hello to Amazon Live. Today, we are going to review Unseen Connections. This is a book by Dr. Cynthia Miller. She is a woman that I learned about through an online course that I'm taking, and her book came up in the connection group. So I picked up Unseen Connections, and this is the book I'm going to review for you today. Every day at noon, I'm here with a new book review. I've been doing this since January 1st as my New Year's resolution, as a practice in accountability, and also in a really strong attempt to fill myself up with great information. And this book did not disappoint. Unseen Connections by Dr. Cynthia Miller. So it is a memoir. It goes back to her early life and talks about growing up in a very unusual situation. Her father being if I'm saying this correctly, a scientist who put together the atomic bomb. So she says. It's a really amazing, the first hydrogen bomb. She was 5 years old. So, really fascinating life story here as she moves from country to country, goes from school setting to school setting, and then how the fabric of her life weaves together. So it says, "Dear reader, I'm one of the firstborn of the nuclear age. I remember the day well when my dad came home from building the world's first hydrogen bomb. I was 5 years old. I couldn't comprehend why people hate and kill each other. That day signaled my life's trajectory." So really fascinating, just positioning right out of the gate. And she talks then about how her life takes twists and turns and where it goes, all in the quest of finding joy. So from pain and violence to joy. And so she talks a lot about her, I wouldn't know if adventures is the right word, but about her journey through sort of cosmic consciences and well, she says it best, the epic adventure brings together the macro and the micro world events pinpointed in one life, the evolution of unconsciousness to consciousness, from trauma to healing, from victim to self-discovery, from horror to awakening. At times, it morphs into a sci-fi movie. That's true. So she talks about how we um, live in exciting times, and she says, first and foremost, at the very beginning of the book, "I hope my journey will inspire you to step up to do what you came here to do." I love that. I hope my journey will inspire you to step up to what you came here to do. Super cool. So I would love to ask her on the beginning of each chapter. She has these symbols, these drawings. I'm so fascinated about what that is. Hopefully one day I'll get to interview her in this space and we can ask. So she was born in 1946, and she talks about um, just the way she grew up, the way she grew up, where she, the very, very, very early childhood memories growing up in some secrecy of the time with her dad, the head construction engineer, uh, building the world's first hydrogen bomb in the South Pacific. She talks about how her father's not present for long periods of time, the things that happen with her mother. Uh, and you almost feel this sense of sympathy for mom, who is going every night. She slides into bed with a cheap bottle of red wine, a Hershey's chocolate bar, and a trashy Harlequin romance novel from the Five and Dime lending library a few blocks away. Every morning I bring her coffee in bed. Just really interesting. You feel like you are walking through the hallways of her life as she is describing things. And then she talks about how she just starts picking up everything. She's just absorbing the energy of everything around her, the hatred, the destruction. She says there's just this amazing awareness that she has of so much that's going around, um, and how she feels alone, really so alone. And then she talks about um, how she lives in two realities. During the day, I exist in the linear, logical left brain, fear conditioning, amygdala, and that's a left lizard brain, right? And the ancient reptilian brain, she says, takes over when it's triggered by panic and it runs deep. The right side of my brain is also forming, the part connected to infinite angels and my inner being. And she has a lot of these brushes with angels that come up again and again and again. She goes through um, her quest of discovery, even in early childhood. She gives an amazingly vivid description about the night that triggered her trajectory in life. Like an internal spark ignites while I hide in the corner, feeling scared and powerless and worthless. I'm just a girl of no value. I want to stop the fear and the violence. That night, my lifelong search of discovering my worth and why people kill each other switched on. She says, my life is a windy path through bliss and torture as the outer violence turned inward. The external brutality of the world is wired into cellular structures. She talks a lot about what she feels so very deep in her body. And then she says, I hide my brilliance even from myself. Really amazing how those layers get kind of piled onto her. Then she talks about moving to Iran, being sent away to a boarding school, just emotions flooding her body, um, the inner feelings that she knows, the no inner feeling of safety, that she's cherished or that she's valued. I mean, you go on this journey with her. The only thing I could liken it to would be the first time you read about Anne Frank and her journeys. It's really scary uh, and emotional. It's really an amazing book. And then she has, fun moments too. A level of safety emerged at some point as she develops a friend, and a level of safety that she had, that she was having fun. And I love that, a level of security that she had as she develops friends. Then she goes on to talk about her series of events, and as she steps out into her own and is married and moves on to thinking her purpose in life was to marry, and going on to Berkeley and how her life evolves there. There's just so many amazing ideas. One of the chapters that I found just absolutely pivotal was African elephants in Kathmandu. And it's a story of how she um, is at a table. A German man walks up to her and says namaste to her and Ted, her person that's with her. Peter had just arrived from South Africa, where he's been filming for years. Everything is written kind of in the language that it's happening right now, which is so active. I really like that. And then she talks about her friend, Lee, back in Africa one day in 1975, who was filming a herd of elephants, and a tragic accident ensues. I'll let you read the book to get the detail. But it was Lee's dream to travel to Nepal, which is where she is in this chapter. And she goes on to tell the story about the human fragility and the intricate workings of the cosmic play in this, how they play in this life, and how humbling they are. A German man arrives in a Russian restaurant in Nepal, and he invites Americans to the British embassy to see a movie filmed in Africa. What a plethora of people and countries involved in this marvelous synchronistic completion. What is happening behind the scenes in this human drama? And what is happening is that when she first wanted to see this movie that this girlfriend of hers had made, she had no inclination to go to Nepal. And here she is in a place that her girlfriend Lee wanted to visit. Did her desire help pull me to Kathmandu? Am I living out some of her wishes? At times I wonder where I end and others begin. I think we're all living in one big interconnected cosmic soup, quantum entanglement manifesting on Earth. We're all connected. And there you have it. Well, in Nepal, I keep sensing a connection like a web. It's, is it Indra's web, the Buddhist and Hindu philosophy to describe interconnectedness, a net going on? Or is it some phenomenon? Whatever the explanation, I am in awe of this magical world, she says. I am in awe of this magical world. So, chapter after chapter, it's filled with these beautiful synchronicities and these beautiful ways that life ties back again and again and again. The river of souls, Dad, and the quantum physics. She talks about healing angels that she feels surround her in so many places, cobras and caves. I'm just, um, again, time and time again, drawn in. It's riveting. It's literally like you can't put it down. I lose time when I've really um, gone through some of the chapters. So I still have more to do in finishing this book. I just have to say that it is definitely worth the read. Amazing when it comes to chapter after chapter, taking you on a journey, making you feel like you are um, in another place. So, Unseen Connections, From Pain and Violence to Joy by Dr. Cynthia Miller. I highly recommend it. It is a new book just out, and I picked it up on Amazon. I will make sure it's in your cart or in your carousel. Excuse me, you can put it in your cart on Amazon if you would like to go on a journey with Dr. Cynthia Miller. And I'll add it for you as well in the conversation on Facebook as well as on YouTube. All right, that's the book review for this Monday. Have a great Monday, start of the week, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, noon Eastern. See you then.